Information and Communication Technology presents educational satellite television programs.
Hello, teacher. Hello, students. Welcome to today's lesson on osmosis. In our last lesson, we learned about diffusion. We learned how diffusion works across a semi-permeable cell membrane. We discussed how concentration and temperature affect diffusion. Also, we talked about how the cell adapts to make the process more efficient. Today, we will learn about osmosis. We will describe the process and we will demonstrate the occurrence of osmosis using potato cups. Are you ready to begin, students? As we have learned, diffusion is the process of particles moving from an area of high concentration to an area of low concentration. Since the membrane only lets in some of the particles, it is known as partially permeable. A partially permeable membrane allows water to move across it. Osmosis is similar to diffusion, but instead of solute particles, osmosis moves water from an area of high concentration to an area of low concentration through selectively permeable membrane. Osmosis is also a passive process, which means that no energy is required for it to occur. Solutions inside the cell are separated from those outside the cell by the cell membrane. A cell is essentially a solution inside a partially permeable casing, known as the cell membrane. Solutions are a mixture of solutes and solvents. A solvent is the liquid in which a solute is dissolved. A solute is a chemical that is dissolved in a solvent. Let us use the example of sugar-water solution. Sugar is the solute and water is the solvent. A dilute solution of sugar would contain a high concentration of water and a low concentration of sugar. A concentrated solution of sugar would contain a low concentration of water and a high concentration of sugar. The cell contains a concentrated solution of salts and sugars. In the cell, water moves from a dilute solution or from an area of high concentration of water particles to a less concentrated area across the membrane. The sugars and salts cannot cross the membrane, which means osmosis occurs. Students, let us do an activity to review what we have just learned. Determine if the following statements are true or false.
Students, let's get ready. Begin. Time's up. Let's get back to our lesson.
Hello again, students. I hope that was a simple activity. Let us review the answers. The statement that in osmosis, water molecules must move across a cell membrane is true. The statement that the membrane of a cell is selectively permeable is also true. The statement that osmosis requires energy to occur is false. Both diffusion and osmosis are passive processes, meaning they require no energy to occur. The statement that a solution is a mixture of solutes and solvents is true. The statement that a solvent is a chemical that is dissolved in a liquid is false. A solvent is a liquid in which a solute dissolves. I am sure everyone did a great job on that activity. Let us carry on with the lesson. Osmosis can be demonstrated through a simple experiment using potatoes. An osmometer is a system that shows or measures osmosis. We will be using the potatoes as an osmoscope to exhibit the process of osmosis. This is a simple experiment that only requires a potato, a beaker, a strong sugar solution, and water. The potato is cut to make one end flat. The other end is hollowed out to make a cavity. The potato is placed in the beaker. The sugar solution is poured into the cavity of the potato. The initial level of the solution should be marked so you can compare the levels when the experiment is complete. The potato with the sugar solution is then placed in a beaker containing water. After a few hours, the liquid level of the sugar solution in the cavity of the potato will rise. Students, can you explain why the liquid level of the sugar solution rises? Take a few minutes to write down your ideas based on what we have learned in this lesson.
Students, let's get ready. Begin. Time's up. Let's get back to our lesson.
Welcome back, students. How did you do? The sugar solution level rises because of osmosis. The movement of the water molecules towards the higher concentration solution through a membrane is the process of osmosis. The potato cell membrane acts as the semi-permeable membrane. Did you write down a similar answer? If so, great job. It is also important to note that by varying the strength of the sugar solution used in the experiment, you can investigate how the strength of the solution affects the rate of osmosis. This brings us to the end of our lesson. Today, we learned about osmosis. We learned that osmosis is the process of water molecules moving from an area of high concentration to an area of low concentration across a semi-permeable membrane. We also looked at how using a potato osmoscope can demonstrate the process of osmosis. Until next time, thank you, teacher. Thank you, students.